Hey everyone, Vinayak here, founder and CEO at Drafted, and today I have a very special guest, Brendan Schwartz, who is the founder and CTO at Wistia.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So one of the cool things about what we're doing today is that typically we do really scrappy videos for the daily draft. And today we're getting to level up our game in a big way because Wistia happens to be a company that specializes in video. So we're here in their studio behind the scenes this is where the magic happens for all the amazing Wistia videos that you see online. And so today I actually want to talk to Brendan about something that Wistia doesn't often talk about in their marketing and about their business, which is about their team and their hiring, and something amazing that Wistia actually did very recently, where they took a very non-traditional path to growing their company without venture capital financing. So Brendan, can you just introduce the company to us a little bit and tell us the story behind that?
Yes. So we're Wistia. We've been around 12 and a half years. We help companies market better with video and build their audiences with video. And the non-traditional path I think you're referring to is, I think the first round of funding that we did was very bad with time. In 2008, we raised an angel round, and then a year later raised another angel round, a total of $1.4 million, so not a ton of money. And we were fortunate to be able to grow with revenue from customers and build a much bigger business. And 2 years ago, we raised a pretty large debt round to buy out our investors and employees and convert to a profit sharing model.
And can you share some of the growth numbers that you had for the business over the last year?
Last year, we did $32 million in revenue.
Wow.
And grew the team from about 80 people to we're around 100 people right now.
Wow. So you're saying that you built a 100-person company that makes over $30 million annually with only $1.4 million in angel funding from quite a while ago. So this is really different. And is this one of the things that you talk about when you're hiring people at Wistia?
Having this shift hasn't really affected who we hire. We've always looked for people who are really long-term thinkers and who value sustainable growth, because that's how we've built this business. I would say, though, that since talking about that transaction publicly, it has been helpful to kind of cast Wistia in a different light than like a venture for like what you're describing, and that we have a lot of people who have heard about Wistia through that basically financial news, who identify with that story because maybe they came from a place that is venture funded and found that company making decisions that weren't in line with their values.
Mm-hmm. So that's really interesting that you brought up kind of the long-term outlook and long-term thinking. Has that permeated into Wistia culture and into the way you hire as well when you think long-term compared to some of the other startups out there?
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty deep in our own world here, having done this for 12 and a half years, but I would say that that's something that has always been attractive to us in hiring, and that we look for people who want to do that and not take shortcuts, because there's a lot, like growing slowly over a decade, that's done through a lot of hard work and kind of not taking the quickest path often.
I think it also reflects in your product. We're trying to help people, not only produce and distribute better videos, but also kind of become better long-term, craftspeople. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely a big. I mean, one reason we've been so successful in the business is that through our video content in a large way, we have built a big audience, and a lot of that is teaching people how to make video. And I remember when we started doing that, it's this content marketing, that's a really long-term investment. The investors that we had at the time were like, that's cool, how's it performing? And you have 100 views on something, 1,000 views, that's not very material, but if you really keep at that and do it for a long time, and you can build a loyal and engaged audience, that has a compounding effect. You're not always starting from zero every month, and that's a huge way that we built the business and continue to build it.
So we're sitting here in your office that you're about to outgrow in Cambridge. What are some of the most difficult hires you've had to make in order to get to this point?
Should I be naming names of people?
Sure.
There's The first person who we hired who made our first video, Chris Levine, who set up this studio, he was someone who had a pretty successful career shooting videos. He was making a lot more money than we could afford to pay him because we were a much smaller company. And the only reason he joined Wistia was we had him work kind of as a contractor for as much as we could afford, and then kind of like getting into the business and seeing the culture and seeing the bigger picture of what was possible here is what ultimately convinced him. I feel like we have run that same playbook on another people who at first were like, for different reasons, like our current chief of staff. Her background is in, she worked for the CIA and she worked for BCG, and she really wanted to work in healthcare. That was what she was passionate about. So she's like, this video company, don't care. Marketing, don't care about it. We were able to hire her as a strategy consultant. She helped do that. She met everybody here and really fell in love with the people and the company, which is what I think ultimately convinced her to join full time. But that was like a hard no that turned. And so we've done that with a number of people over the years, and it's been successful. Where someone's like, I don't get this business. I don't know why I want to be a part of it, but it is like the culture and everybody else here who makes it a special place.
So what are some of the places you would say that you look for hires, or something that you do when hiring that probably most other companies don't do?
I've got to talk about video. There's something, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this because it just happened the other day. I saw it for the first time, but making videos for different points in the hiring process. So just an internal company meeting was debuted yesterday, a very humorous video that you would get the week or day before you're coming in for an interview that like talked about the Wistia office, showed you a lot of people who work here, and the idea there is we want to create a great candidate experience. It's nerve-wracking to come in, and interviews generally are not great. So how can we make that?
That's a
better?
Really fun idea. So it's almost like a trailer for Wistia before you come in and see the movie.
Yeah, to get people excited, and I think also hopefully put them at ease. Like a good interview should be a proxy for how it is to work with someone. If someone's really nervous, like neither of you are getting like the best read on is it a good fit both ways. So hopefully that'll help. We also have done video job descriptions, which have been helpful in a similar way to show the team that you're going to work with. And so we're 100 people. We're not a huge company. So if you were joining, say, the product team, and you could see Molly, Carlin, and Maureen, these are the people you'll actually work with in the video. That like paints a pretty clear picture of what the opportunity is. That's
really cool. So at first when you said video job description, I was imagining that someone reading off like skills, must know Java and SQL, and responsibilities, team player, and individual contributor. but I'm guessing it's not like that.
Really, that maybe isn't the best word to describe it then. It's more just like meet the team and like get a feel for what Wistia is about and like the tone of the organization, I'd say.
Do you think that there's an opportunity for recruiting teams to use something like Wistia or to use video more? And kind of, most recruiters that I know probably don't think about using video in their everyday job. So if I was a recruiter and I wanted to kind of get started with experimenting with with this kind of use of video, where would you recommend for me to start?
I think showing is always better than telling, because especially, a lot of people get a lot of recruiting emails and they can tend to sound the same. It's hard to stand out. I think video is a good way to do it. We also make a product called Soapbox, which is an easy way to record a quick video and make a professional looking video in a short amount of time. Seeing people use that that's like another form of sales, right? And to be able to connect individually with a candidate, that's definitely going to stand out in an inbox.
That's for sure.
And we use that for targeted searches.
For all the recruiters that might be watching this, check out Soapbox so that you can maybe make personalized videos for your candidates that are coming into interview, or that you're actually trying to reach out to and convince to take a call with you. Thank you, Brendan. This has been totally awesome. Really appreciate you sharing your time with us today. Parting thoughts, just about hiring and team building in general. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our Daily Draft viewers?
I just published a blog post about goal setting, which might sound boring, but one thing that's really important to us here is creativity and long-term thinking. And being around 12 years, we've made a lot of mistakes. And one that I was reflecting upon recently is that it's very pervasive, especially in tech, to set ambitious stretch goals. And the thinking there is that if you set a really lofty goal, it'll get your team to think really creatively about how to hit that goal. We did that for a long time and found the exact opposite to be true, that we would set something really ambitious. 2 months into it, you're likely behind because it was a really ambitious goal. That is both demotivating to the team, but more importantly, that when the team is behind and you hire people who are great and want to meet their goals, they want to catch up to the goal, and then they start thinking really short term. We now set modest, normal, achievable goals and find that we get way better performance and much more creativity and actual long-term thinking.
That comes full circle to your original comment about long-term thinking and how to promote that kind of within your culture, from hiring to to engagement.
Yeah, I guess it does.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us use this amazing space and really leveling up our video game today, and sharing these awesome thoughts with all our daily drafters.
You're very welcome.